Hello my friends, welcome back for yet another Trench Crusade video. Today I want to do something a little bit different. Trench Crusade has given me an opportunity to flex some different muscles than I'm used to in painting, which is very, very fun. Usually I like things that are vibrant, fluorescent, and all that. But these guys, they demand the grimdark, and I am here for it. And today, we are painting some grimdark, nasty skin on this communicant. Now, the actual painting methods are relatively simple. So before we dive into that, let me tell you what a communicant is. Communicants are devotees who consume the flesh and blood of a metachrist. Strengthened by the divine essence, they grow to enormous size, and wounds they suffer close themselves miraculously. They see clearer blind, so blessed crosses are nailed through their eyes. On the battlefield, they act as line breakers and bodyguards for prophets and castigators, heedlessly walking through enemy fire and mauling their enemies with enormous weapons that a normal man can barely even lift. Yeah, and whatever the metachrist is doing to these guys, they are about like 2 or 3 times the size of a normal human, a trench pilgrim. They're kind of gnarly. It's an awesome, awesome model. This is one from the official Trench Crusade Kickstarter. On this guy, I thought this would be a great opportunity to play with doing some gross, dirty, grungy skin. A dude who is blinded with a cross, like the little lore bit I just read. He's wading through fire, wading through the trenches. He's gonna be, I don't even know, half zombie, but with Jesus powers. He's gonna be gross, right? So what we did here, I wanted very desaturated skin tones. I took my Pro Acryl dark neutral gray and mixed that with Citadel's Night Questor Flesh to hit this base coat here over our black primer. And this one, like you see, mostly gray. I wanted it to be dark and desaturated, right? Give this guy kind of this pale, creepy look. And this part is where it's really simple, honestly. I went from this blend from our dark neutral gray and slowly started doing the same mix, but swapping out the dark neutral gray with bright neutral gray. And just slowly and steadily, this one is a nice and big model, so I was able to take my time and really wanted to get the skin nice. So I went through on a couple passes and making sure not to undo all of my previous layers as I move to the brighter sections. It's very tempting when you're highlighting and layering to cover all of the previous layer, especially on a model like this where it's like a lot of him could be hit by the sunlight, right? Because he's just has a giant back and a giant open chest like this. But you want the color differences. So really trying to focus these lighter colors on like the top of the biceps, the upper part of the chest, the top of the shoulders, and letting those earlier dark neutral gray mixed tones sit in like the recesses of the muscles and the lower bits there. And this process, like I was saying, easy enough. It's just that mix of the various neutral grays with our Night Questor Flesh. Even when I got to the most highlighted points, I mixed in a little bit of extra Night Questor Flesh because I did want a little bit of a skin tone. I didn't want to just make him gray. Just wanted to make sure that the skin tone showed through a little bit. But then the exciting part, you guys know, if you've seen my other Trench Crusade videos, I am obsessed with oil washes, and for good reason, like I'm about to show you. And on this model, right, he is wading through bullets. He's covered in scars. He's this giant colossal thing. So we want to make him look like he's taken wounds before. For this warband, the usual oil washes I've been doing is having our French ultramarine in the shadows and a burnt sienna on the more upward facing parts. But this guy, I wanted the tones of like those bruising and all that stuff, the battle damage for our oil wash. I took my 3 colors our usual French ultramarine and burnt sienna. Now to get that bruised, abused flesh type of look, added in some magenta and mixed these into 3 separate little cups with their mineral spirits until they became a little bit thicker than a normal like acrylic wash consistency, like Nuln Oil and all that stuff, just a little bit thicker. And as you can see here, I started with our ultramarine and just hitting in the recesses and the lower edges. Now, the wonderful thing about oil washes that I will not stop yapping about is the flexibility of them. Because as we go along here, you can see I'm pushing and pulling. I want to hit around these scarred areas and maybe some of the veiny areas with this to give that bruised look. And then on top of that, on the upward facing parts, I hit them with the burnt sienna. Now, something that I actually did here too is after putting on the burnt sienna originally, I just thought it was too bright of a brown. So what I did was straight up take a black oil and mix it with my burnt sienna and just went over all those parts again. Since there is the white spirits in there, it will cover, displace, and change what was on there previously. That is the big secret of oil washes. It has this malleability that you just can't do at all with an acrylic wash. Then after that, after this guy is all greased up, took out my fanciest of Q-tips and just dabbed them off. Also, the benefit of oils is this is where you can play around with how much you want the paint job underneath to show through, how much you want the oil wash to tint the paint. And it's actually funny, you can see how much I grease this guy up because the oil wash is literally dripping off of him. But it's good. I do like doing that with these guys and my Death Guard because the oils, when there's that much on there, they kind of do like a natural blend of the couple different colors that I have going on. After we hit this guy with Q-tip to my desired effect, and you could always put on more oils and all this stuff because it takes days to dry. This fellow is good to hit the trenches. After we've removed all of the oil to get our desired effect here, this guy's good to go. So let's head over to the spinny shots. Alright, so you might have noticed I did a little bit of work on the side and off camera here. You know, when you have the trench pilgrims, you gotta add the bloody crosses, you need the blood effects. But I wanted to focus on the skin for today, because I really like how it came out. Very pleased with this dark, desaturated paint. Now, it is desaturated, but still has interesting colors going on, right? So it's not just a grayscale or anything like that. There's a little bit more visual interest, which I think is very cool. And with the red from the blood, the red from the hood, the blue in the shadows, you get all that nice color theory junk going on too. But that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this Trench Crusade madness. And if you would like to hang out while I paint some minis, check me out over on twitch.tv/drinkyourpaintwaterlive, where I'm streaming about 4 days a week. Trying to add more days to the schedule, but things keep coming up. But it's around 4 days a week. And be sure to stay tuned because this weekend, the Emperor's Children releases are happening. I managed to get lucky enough to get my grubby little hands on one of the boxes. And boy, do we have such sights to show you. I'll see you in the next one.